Get ready for a mind-blowing journey through time. You might know hobbits from J.R.R., Tolkien's classic novels and movies, but here's the astonishing part: they're not entirely fictional. Did you know that real-life hobbit species were discovered in Indonesia over 75 years ago? These tiny humans, scientifically known as Homo floresiensis, shook up our understanding of human evolution like never before. Today, we're diving into this groundbreaking find and exploring how it's rewriting the story of our ancient ancestors and what it means for us now. Let's take a step back in time and explore the fascinating world of our ancient human ancestors. Before modern humans stepped onto the scene, several Homo species like Homo erectus and Homo heidelbergensis roamed the globe. These early humans spread across various regions, adapting to their environments and developing unique traits. The multi-regional evolution theory suggests that these regional populations eventually evolved into us by gradually picking up the physical and behavioral characteristics we see in modern humans today. But here's the interesting part. This didn't happen in isolation. There was a constant flow of genetic material being exchanged between different groups through interbreeding or migration, shaping our shared human identity. Get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about human evolution. As our ancient ancestors exchanged genes and adapted to their environments through gene flow and local changes, modern human traits like our bodies and brains began to take shape in many regions at the same time. But here's a twist: it wasn't necessarily an equal contribution from all hominin species. Some groups may have played a bigger role than others. Now, you might be picturing prehistoric humans as pretty much just like us with a few minor tweaks over time. But what if that's not entirely accurate? A groundbreaking discovery in 2016 changed the game. Researchers found an incredible site on Flores Island, about 45 miles from Liangba Cave, called Matamengal, and we're about to uncover what they uncovered. Hold onto your seat. We're diving into one of the most exciting archaeological finds in recent history. At Matamengal on Flores Island, scientists uncovered an incredible treasure trove of artifacts and fossils that are rewriting our understanding of human evolution. This amazing site yielded a collection of stone tools, a jawbone fragment, and 6 minuscule teeth. But what really got everyone buzzing is that these teeny teeth didn't belong to a kid. They were from a fully grown adult hominin. Each piece of this puzzle offers a vital clue about the ancient humans who once called this island home. And here's where it gets mind-blowing. With precise dating, researchers determined the fossils at Matamengal are an astonishing 700,000 years old. That's even older than some of our best-known human ancestors. Get ready for a blast from the past. Let's travel back to 2003 when a game-changing discovery was made at Liangba Cave on Flores Island in Indonesia. An Aussie-Indu team had been on a quest to uncover evidence of early human migration from Asia to Australia, but what they stumbled upon would change everything. Led by Peter Brown and Michael Morwood, the joint research crew made an incredible find when they unearthed remains of a tiny human within the cave. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. This accidental discovery sent shockwaves through the world of paleoanthropology. As they dug deeper, they noticed that these ancient remains boasted a mix of old and new features, which led to an earth-shattering conclusion: they belonged to a completely new species of human. Fast forward to October 2004, the big reveal. That's when scientists made the official introduction to the world of Homo floresiensis, affectionately nicknamed hobbits. This exciting discovery shook up our understanding of human evolution and diversity, especially in Southeast Asia. What made it all possible was a nearly full skeleton with a skull, dubbed LB1. This incredible find had researchers buzzing. With its remarkable preservation, the team could finally uncover more about this new species' anatomy and features. But that's not even close to the whole story. But wait, there's more. Inside the Liangba Cave, researchers stumbled upon fragments from at least 11 other individuals, basically tripling the size of the Hobbit crew. What's even crazier is that these remains were scattered across different layers of the cave, giving us a timeline stretching back around 40,000 years, from about 100,000 to 60,000 years ago. One arm bone from way deeper in the cave, dating back roughly 74,000 years, might belong to our tiny human friends, but it's tough to be sure since LB1 didn't have an arm bone for comparison. And just when you thought that was all, the team also found some seriously old stone tools, leaving no doubt that humans were hanging out in this cave a long time ago. And then there's the treasure trove of stone tools, some of which date back a staggering 190,000 years. These ancient artifacts helped scientists get a glimpse into how our miniature friends lived and survived. With the remains being relatively young and exceptionally well preserved, researchers were super stoked to try and extract mitochondrial DNA, hoping it would give us a genetic peek at these little humans. Although the initial attempts didn't crack the code just yet, the research team is still working hard to uncover more secrets about their DNA. But let's get back to our tiny friends. From 2007 to 2014, digs at Liangbo were like a puzzle party, using high-tech dating methods to piece together the cave's layers. And what did they find? Hobbits stood tiny, with an average height of just 1 meter. But here's where things get really interesting. Our little friends weren't just small in stature, their bodies had some seriously unique features. They had broader hips and slightly slouched shoulders, making them look pretty different from us regular humans. But that's not all. They also had those super long, low skulls similar to Homo erectus, rather than our higher forehead look. And get this, their skulls were on the thicker side, while their brains were actually quite small, about the same size as a chimpanzee's. Scientists think there might be a reason for this. Maybe smaller brains just required less energy, and that was the most efficient way to survive back then since food wasn't exactly overflowing. Now let's dive into the brain power behind these tiny humans. Literally, the structure of their brains, especially in areas like the temporal and frontal lobes, was a real mixed bag. It had a unique blend of characteristics that weren't seen anywhere else among hominin species. One cool thing is that this area, called Brodmann 10, which helps us with complex thinking, was actually pretty big in hobbits. That's right, despite their tiny size, they had a surprisingly developed brain region for advanced thinking. Moving on to the chompers, their jaws and teeth were quite unique. Unlike us, they didn't have that distinctive bony chin point. Their jaw structure and tooth size were more like our Homo relatives from way back when, with a nod to Homo erectus. But there was also some older features thrown in. Think V-shaped dental layout and a bony shelf at the front of their lower jaw. That's an ancient trait we don't see in later humans like Homo erectus. You've got to love how the hobbits were a mashup of different human features. It's like they took bits and bobs from our ancestors' toolkit. But where do these mini-humans fit in the grand scheme of human evolution? Initially, some scientists thought they might be Homo sapiens with a weird genetic or metabolic condition. Maybe something like microcephaly or Down syndrome was at play. But now experts are saying that doesn't quite add up. Their features just don't match those disorders. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. What really seals the deal is the discovery of ancient fossils in Matamanga, dating back a whopping 700,000 years. This tells us that these tiny humans lived long enough for their population to grow and thrive. They weren't an isolated incident or a one-off. So what does this mean? Well, it looks like we might have another branch on the human family tree, and these hobbits are about to shake things up in our understanding of where we come from. So what's the deal with our tiny friends? We've got two pretty cool theories to consider. First, maybe they were the great-grandkids of H. erectus. You know, those more intelligent and taller ancestors of ours from 1.8 million years ago. The idea is that living on an island can be tough, and sometimes it leads to some wild size changes in mammals. It's like when you see a bunch of mice living on a tiny island, and suddenly they're super small. But there's another hypothesis floating around. What if our hobbits actually descended from even smaller ancestors like Homo habilis or Australopiths? That would be a game changer, but we've got some major hurdles to overcome. For one, these species are mostly found in Africa, and it's hard to imagine them making that long journey across land and sea to get to the island where our hobbits lived. So, which theory will reign supreme? The answer is still up for grabs. Now that we've got our theories on the table, let's talk about how scientists might crack this puzzle wide open. With genetic analysis, this super cool field of study lets us dive into an organism's DNA to uncover its evolutionary past, connections to other species, and even cool adaptations it might have developed over time. The problem is, getting those ancient DNA clues from our hobbit fossils won't be a piece of cake. See, the tropical island where they were found is like a DNA destroyer. High heat and humidity speed up DNA degradation, making it super tough to get intact genetic material from these remains. Even with all our fancy tech, extracting usable DNA from ancient specimens in these environments is an enormous challenge that scientists are still working on overcoming. So the tropical conditions on Flores Island aren't exactly DNA friendly. They can break down genetic material so much that we're left with tiny, unusable fragments or even nothing at all. That's why scientists have a tough time extracting viable DNA from hobbit fossils, but who knows, future tech might make this process easier. If we do get those DNA answers, it could reveal where the evolutionary split happened between hobbits and modern humans. Or maybe even if they're on different branches of the human family tree entirely. Now it's your turn to share your thoughts. Could hobbits have lived alongside humans but remained totally distinct? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video enlightening, hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe for more edgy content like this. Stay curious and keep exploring. We'll catch you in the next video where we dive into another mind-blowing topic. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey, and we'll see you real soon.